Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Good Art Friends, where good friends discuss good art. Jonathan, my good friend, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right. We've made it to the end of the year.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good this year, and that's what we're here to talk about.
I'm excited. Yeah. So what is this prestigious award show that we're going to do?
We are welcoming you to the first ever edition of the Garts,
Yes.
where we are going to discuss all things that were good and, in our opinion, the goodest of things that we engaged with this year.
Yes. I love it. Okay, you want to kick us off? What do you want to lead with?
Yeah, let's get into movies.
Okay.
Mainly just because that's what's most recent in my mind. I would like to award my personal Gart this year for movies to The Wild Robot.
Oh, that's on my list. Yeah.
Shocking number one for me. I have three that are my top three of this year of new movies that came out that I saw. And in order of me seeing them, they were Challengers, The Wild Robot, and Conclave.
Okay.
The Wild Robot just made me feel so much. I cried so much in that movie. And I am proud to give The Wild Robot my first Gart.
I like that. Yeah, that's on my list. I think that's the only movie I kind of put down that came out this year. That's I have themes for mine. That's one of three for the Dehydrated Award, just because I cried so much that, I needed to, I need some water afterwards. But I thought that was a beautiful movie. Just beautiful in terms of the animation, the story, just all of it was wonderful. Yeah. I like it. Okay, that's good. Here, I can jump to another for my Dehydrated Award was Shrinking Season 2.
Okay.
Are you familiar with that show?
I'm familiar with it. I haven't watched it. There's a lot of TV. I don't watch a lot of linear TV as much as I used to. Really the only I know, but I mean, as far as serialized TV, the only serialized TV I'm really watching right now is probably Abbott.
Abbott's great. Yeah. But this, it's a therapist whose wife was killed years back in a drunk driving accident. I was raising a daughter, and he just was completely, understandably, just destroyed by her death. And it's him from both angles as a therapist, kind of helping out other people while he himself needs a lot of support and help and all those things. And it's Harrison Ford as his kind of mentor who has Parkinson's, and just this season was all about kind of forgiveness in ways that was very powerful and moving, and also was hilarious. It's a great show. I really recommend it. Yeah, season 2 just ended. It's only like 8 or so episodes per season, so it is. If you have Apple TV, there's some good sci-fi on Apple TV. So
Harrison Ford as a father figure sounds very fun.
Yeah, he's tremendous in it, and it's Jason Segel. Not Seagal. That's the like kung fu kind of guy.
Yeah.
For How I Met Your Mother's in it. So I highly recommend. That's the second of my Dehydrated Award. I'll just crank out really quick. My third was Adrienne Lenker from Big Thief. She put out a solo album, Bright Future, with some incredibly moving songs, and Real House about in particular about like a house that she grew up with even though she traveled a lot. It's just incredibly moving. So those are my 3 Dehydrated Awards. Yeah. What else you got?
I was going to turn it over to you. Lead the way with our next section and selection.
I got some books and comic books.
Yes.
You got anything that would work in there?
I got I think I only read like one book or a couple books this year, one that was new to me. And I am very much willing to nominate it.
Okay. What do you got?
The one really true thing that I read outside of us doing The Art of Fielding, I did This Is How You Lose the Time War.
Yeah.
It's a very much of a slow mover from the start. Yeah. It invites you into the book, and it really becomes your choice on whether you're going to sit and engage with it. And if you do, you are well rewarded. I really enjoyed. I was able to surge my way through this during the Thanksgiving holiday. I was able to read it on flights. and downtime around the house while everybody was miraculously being quiet.
It's a good escapism book for when you are surrounded by wonderful but exhausting family.
Yes. Yeah, and it was just so much fun to read, and then you get to a very magical point of the book, which is where the true payoff is.
I thought that was a fantastic book as well. It's incredibly inventive in terms of the narration. Actually, I have two books that also have really creative narration. I have the Funky Futurism Award, Moonbound by Robin Sloan. He wrote previously Mr. Penumbra's 24-Hour Bookstore or something like that. It's really good. And The Last Murder at the End of the World by Stuart Turton. I'm just finishing that one up now.
Nice.
But both of them are this futuristic setting, but in a really unique way. Like a lot of future sci-fi just feels like Blade Runner ripoff or something. Whereas Moonbound is almost like medieval Tolkien-esque stuff, but then there's just strange technology. Last Murder at the End of the World is one of those kind of like post-apocalyptic island kind of ones where just trying to preserve humanity. And both of them have really creative narrators like the Time War. The narrator in Moonbound is a sentient fungi.
Oh, fun.
That is the chronicler that tells people stories throughout thousands and thousands of years.
Andy Weir is taking notes.
Yep. And in Last Murder at the End of the World, the narrator is this shared AI-esque consciousness that's a little voice in everybody's head in a way that, well, I can't talk about too much more without spoilers, but both of those I have for just kind of neat futurism. And then I have a couple other books too, if you don't mind.
Yeah,
before
go
we move on. In the Boo Fascist Awards, I have TJ Klune's Somewhere Beyond the Sea came out this year. That's the sequel to House of the Cerulean Sea. And it's just about, it's the goodest. It's about good overcoming bigotry and prejudice and all those kind of things. Where the series, it is this kind of, I guess, orphanage, this house, this school for these kind of quote unquote monsters and magical creatures that are neglected and rejected by the rest of society. And this this guy and his husband that kind of raise them and care for them when the rest of the world is rejecting them. And that's really powerful. And then Anthony Oliveira's Avengers Academy, one of the Infinite Comics on Marvel.
I got to get into that.
Yeah, it's great. You would love that. But both those just kind of overcoming just dumbass prejudice.
Yes.
For those, I think... Oh, I got one more book.
Yes.
Do you have any other books or comics or anything?
No, hit me with a book. I want to hear it.
In the cozy category is Emily Wilde's Map of the Otherlands by Heather Fawcett. It's the second book in a series. First was an encyclopedia of fairies. And it's this just incredible cozy read where it is this essentially this academic pursuits of people that research fairies, this other kind of world that's almost stacked upon ours. And in this I guess Susanna Clarke-esque kind of idea that these mischievous fairies, and these researchers that kind of go and investigate, and it swings from that just cozy, libraries and fires and research and all those kind of things, a lot of cardigan talk, to this really wild and kind of spooky and scary fairy world. The third one comes out I think in February or so. But I really like that series. I think those are all the books.
I'm realizing for me that part of the reason why I haven't read as much recently is mainly because I started reading the almost the exact same book in different covers. Because I really enjoy parallel universe, near future kind of things. And then I read Version Control and All Are Wrong Todays and things like that. And I got to a third book and I'm I'm literally just reading the same book.
Yeah.
And so I needed to read something else. With all of that said, those are two really good books. Actually just recently recommended Version Control to a friend of mine. And whenever I think about that book, I read it in the same summer that I read The Word Exchange. And that's almost, I think, 9 years ago that I read both of those books. But they're really, really good. I love near future kind of things.
Okay. Yeah, both mine are kind of far future. Maybe check out The Last Murder on At the End of the World. Oh, and I didn't even mention, so it is that sci-fi, but it also has, it's like an Agatha Christie-esque murder mystery too, where like to stop the world from ending, because it is this island and it's this perimeter fog that's being kept just around the perimeter of it. Said perimeter a few times. That's fine. And to prevent it from kind of overcoming them, they have to solve someone's murder for reasons that are clear when you kind of read it. So it's cool. I'm really enjoying that one. I'm finishing that one up now. What category? Any TV? You probably have other music? Do you have other music?
I do have music, but music, also,
so you take the lead on music.
We can go to TV real quick. I want to give a Garts to my personal favorite, funniest moment this year.
Okay.
And that is in the CPR episode of Abbott Elementary.
That was a good one.
With Janine. Honestly, the setup for that whole episode, I think is one of their best episodes that they've done. Because it really fleshed out all of the characters really being themselves in very acute ways. Because you have Melissa, who is being cagey about seeing the CPR.
The firefighter guy, Michael Malley.
Guy. And you have Barbara trying to figure out what's going on because Barbara has to know everything. And Melissa explaining, well, maybe I just want to see him in a casual way. And the firefighter saying, oh, actually, really? And Jacob also flirting with the others, EMT, and not telling Janine about it because they've been silently growing a little bit apart because Janine's been at the... I am spoiling this entire episode for you. I am so sorry. But
you want to run some dialogue?
But you really do get the best moment of the entire episode has no dialogue in it except for Janine when she comes in because she has to pass the class. And she puts the dummy on the floor and she turns to the fireman and tells him to start the clock. And he's like, Janine, that's not how this works. And she turns and she says with the most fire in her voice, I said, start the clock. And she gives the dummy compressions. She holds the nose, breathes into the mouth, finishes the compressions, gets up, kicks the dummy in the head, high fives the instructor on the way out, and leaves. And just... Barbara saying, my. That's my favorite moment. Like, Abbott Elementary has like a good walk-off line every episode, including this season with the guinea pigs, the class pets, with Melissa not wanting the guinea pig and saying, what do I look like, April O'Neil?
Turtles. That is the only like look on it, linear TV sitcom I watch anymore and have watched in ages, but it's wonderful. Love it. Oh, that's great. Yeah, let's see. The only other I'd down for a Adapt and Adopt award, Agatha All Along. I thought it was just a wonderful pulling certain pieces from the comics in a way that like gave you stuff to discuss on Reddit, while at the same time, like adopting and making it their own with some of those characters. Aubrey Plaza is always wonderful. I've been watching White Lotus season 2. I don't know if that was this year though, but she's great in that too. But I really thought Agatha All Along was wonderfully made.
My problem is that I think I'm still suffering from Marvel fatigue. Is that they flooded so much stuff, and I'm just like, I don't know what I want to watch. And then like the quality fell off a little bit, which led me to be a little distrustful. But I do want to watch Agatha. And what was the series? I mean, also like WandaVision led into Agatha all along. Right.
Yeah.
But mainly like as far as the Marvel IPs go, I just want Daredevil. Like that's what I'm looking forward to.
Oh yeah, that we might talk about that next episode.
Yes,
we'll plug that at the end. Yeah, to me, it's just becoming more like the comics. Like there are a million comics, and you dip in and out, and some stuff you might have to like quickly jump on Wikipedia to figure out what's going on. Mm-hmm. It's messy, but I weirdly like the messiness of it. Just my autistic brain, it gives me a bunch of like Wikipedia rabbit holes to go down.
Yeah.
So and to me, like all these things, like it's like pizza. There's not really the worst Marvel property is still entertaining, even if it's empty calories, you know?
Well,
something to be said for that.
I mean, we literally just had Kraven come out.
No, that's not. Well, okay, that's Marvel, but Sony Marvel, I'm putting in a different bucket. Okay, different bucket.
Very fair.
Killed the Sonyverse single-handedly.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Any other shows?
That's pretty much it.
Yeah. All right, music.
Yes.
I'll clear out. No, you clear out? Who clears out?
I don't know.
What is the phrase, like in basketball, clear out? I'm saying you ISO for Music Corner.
Yeah, all right. Sweet. I would like to lead off by giving my Garts for new album.
Okay.
This year, and it's going to go to Hyperdrama by Justice. I like when the single started coming out for it, and we had One Night, All Night, and at the tail end of that, you got the little lead in for Mannequin Love, and they made me wait a full month and a half so that I could finally hear Mannequin Love, which was a banger, by the way. It's just the way that it starts. You get Never Render, and it goes into Generator, and you have After Image. Just like it's a really, really good album. All up with that, you get Cowboy Carter. And,
it's a good selection.
Yes, and Let's Start Degeneracy by Microwave. All just like the fact that I got Let's Start Degeneracy and Hyperdrama that came out, I think, on the same day. I was over the moon. I had my sad emo album and I had my dance album at the same time.
Nicely. You got to get the order right there, though.
Yeah. Cowboy Carter, though, I think is biggest surprise of the year, just mainly because she literally drops 2 singles from a Super Bowl commercial and then put out Cowboy Carter like a month and a half later.
Yeah.
That was special.
That was quick. Yeah. And I love I don't know, something I've been thinking about a lot just with, our country, religion, just like who gets to claim a thing, you know? So I love that she's like, no, we can expand what country music is and who it is for and all those kind of things. Because there's an interesting article, I probably won't be able to come up with it. It talked about sometimes how we define country versus Americana or something like these other, alt countries has nothing to do with the actual like musical. It's sometimes these weird cultural kind of things. And if there's like a female country singer who all of a sudden becomes just a little bit, outspoken isn't the right word because there's a judgmental term for it, but something that has this outspoken connotation, then all of a sudden like, oh, she's not country anymore. Yeah, like those kind of things. And it's just strange. So I love that Beyonce was like, no, I can make this music too. And it was great. It's fantastic.
Yeah. I want to toss, trying to figure out a Garts to, wow, it'd be hard for me to actually pick out because I was going to say like to best single that I heard this year from an unreleased album. And I do think it might be This Is Life, which was Winnetka Bowling League and Dawes and Medium Build, all 3 of them, which basically started as like one saw the other and they like really liked their music and wanted to collaborate. And then they just put out this great banger of a single, which includes some great lines in there of the way we're taught to dance in the end zone. I think God's a dog out the window, or
it's a dog out the window.
Yes,
that's a good line. I like it.
Or maybe death is time redirected and hate is just the love we've rejected. I really enjoyed that, but other like big singles that I enjoyed this year, and this is mainly a lot coming from the fact that I got to start listening to Sirius this year. Because I unfortunately had to get a new car.
Yeah, you got that serious window.
Yeah, and then I leaned into it. And I'm doing like the $5 for.
They got you.
Yeah,
they got you.
And then once it goes up, I'm like, I'm not paying for this anymore unless it's going to be $5 still.
Yeah. You have to do the fake cancel.
Yes.
Does that work?
And I'm willing to cancel. I'm willing to stop it. But we had that. But also mainly from like the alternative station. High and Low Places by Beach Weather was really good, along with Love on the Outside by Wishy. Those are like three of the big ones that I really listened to a lot. And then I'm very I'd say like favorite new artist that I discovered this year, I think, is The Beaches.
Beaches.
Mainly because like I'm 100% here for, well, number one, we need more female fronted rock groups, and The Beaches are an all female outfit from Canada.
Cool. I thought you only listened to music from Australia.
I do listen to a lot of music from Australia.
Disproportionate amount, I guess.
With that being said, the 3 singles that Dear Seattle put out this year, I'm very much looking forward to their album that's coming out next year. They put out Sungazer, IDC, and Nothing Stopping Me Now, which were amazing. But The Beaches this summer put out Takes One to Know One, which describes 2 objectively terrible people that are in a relationship with each other, which leads to the chorus kicking off with, God, you're a piece of work. Takes one to know one.
That's good.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for the music corner. That was great ISO. Do you have any? I have one video game. Do you have any video game things?
Yes. I would like to, because you have themed awards. And so for me, and it's very funny for me coming off of the music segment, I'm giving my Garts in the category of Dr. Dog, Where'd All the Time Go, to Balatro.
You've been trying to convince me to do that, but yeah, you saying I'm going to lose all my time in it is...
You just have to play it.
Yeah. And I get stuck on like, I don't really like poker that much, but... why do you love it?
It's a puzzle game.
Yeah.
It's not a poker game. It's a puzzle game. Every run starts the exact same way. You have 52 cards, or maybe you have 40. There is one deck where there are no face cards in it.
Cool.
And all of the decks have different rules. So you either get, you have a certain amount of hands that you can play each round, and a certain amount of times that you can discard cards from your hand each round. And from there, it's all about playing poker hands to score enough points to make it through each round.
Okay.
And you can enhance the cards themselves. You can either have them worth more chips. So each hand is scored by the amount of chips multiplied by a multiplier number. So each card is worth a certain amount of chips at base value. So the 2 is worth 2, all the way up to the 10. Each face card is worth 10, and the aces are worth 11. So they're worth a certain amount of chips, and then each hand is worth an increasing amount of base amount of chips and multiplier. So like a high card is only going to multiply it by 1. So you're going to have to do a lot of work to make a high card be very affluent for you. But a royal flush, it starts at, I think, like 140 chips multiplied by 10, which is, about 1,000 points right there. And from there, it's really just... you play the hands, and then after each round, you go to a shop, and you're able to spend your money, and you can get jokers, which are the main thing that you get in the game to enhance your hands.
Okay.
And they can do different things for you. Like If if the hand that you play is less than 3 cards, add plus 20 to the multiplier number. So that can be pretty strong when you're in the early hands, or if you're playing like a pair build or something like that. So you can just play 2 cards and get a huge boost in the amount that you're going to score. Or you can have some that are the food based that will disappear after a certain amount of hands. Fine. Like there's a banana, which is everybody's favorite. And it's worth plus 15 to the multiplier, but it has a 1 in 4 chance to go extinct each turn because it's the Gros Michel, which was a banana that went extinct a long time ago. And then once that goes extinct, then you can get the Cavendish banana, which is the current banana that exists. That's fun. And it gives you ×3 to your multiplier. Yeah. And it has a 1 in 1,000 chance of going extinct, which means it can still happen. Yeah, things like that. Or like popcorn, which each round it gives a less amount to the multiplier. Or ice cream, which gives amount to the chips and it melts away. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of layers to it, but really it's mainly just you play poker hands of the cards that you have available to you, and you try to make the number go up. So like for me, I have to admit that I have now purchased Bocaccio on 3 separate platforms. I got it on Switch first, and then I got it on mobile when it came out, and then I got it on PC during the sale because I've just been having so much fun.
Is there like cross save at least?
No. And that's the thing. It's just been really fun just to like being able to play it in 3 different places and like start new runs and just like start unlocking everything over and over again. Recently, I was working on playing a 100 million point hand because I was trying to unlock a certain Joker. And instead, I ended up pushing that run to me scoring a 48 billion point hand before I ended up dying. Yes.
Does that give you like Joaquin Phoenix level Joker?
No, I wish.
Is that going to get a Gart from either of us? Okay.
Yeah, it rules.
Okay, I'll try it at some point.
It's $9.99 on mobile.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. Yeah, my video game, which we've sort of talked about, is my Parks and Rec award. I forget. Did you watch Parks and Recreation? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So first season of Parks and Rec was fine. Yeah. But then a huge jump like the second season.
Yes.
So that I'm hoping for something similar with Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. Mm-hmm. In that like this first game, in that playing of Zelda and this mechanism of these echoes of just like, dominate the world with beds, I thought was really creative. There are some things that didn't work quite as well for me, like some of the combat and all those kind of things there. But I can see how this theoretically, I just want them to keep making these and go back and forth between give me like the giant, whenever the Super Switch or whatever comes out, these giant 3D open world kind of games every X amount of years. But then I like the more 2-ish D kind of like games. And I would like them to try again or to give me an improved Echoes of Wisdom. Yeah. Because I liked it. It was fun. It was inventive. I feel like it had some of that kind of playfulness of like Breath of the Wild. In Tears of the Kingdom in terms of just like making a bunch of weird stuff and see if you can break the game. Just a few things I would love to see it improved a little. So that's my only gaming one. Well, Animal Well I really liked, but we already talked about that this year.
A late addition for me as far as games go. I've started playing Cross Blitz. I got that during the Steam sale. It plays like Inscription. Where you do battle, and you have 4 rows and 2 columns, or rather, it's a 2x4 grid for each player. Yeah, and you can play the cards into there, and the cards do battle row by row. And it's a deck builder, which is right in my wheelhouse.
Yeah, you love deck builders.
I love a deck builder. I love to be able to play cards and build a mechanism and watch everything go together. when you start off like a really perfect
it's like
build.
That mousetrap kind of like you design and then see how it plays out. Okay,
yes.
I get that. I just have never. Yeah,
I'm going to play a bunch of cannons, and every time I play a pirate, the cannons will go off and they'll shoot at another minion and destroy it. And then when the combat starts, all my cannons are going to fire at the enemy itself. And it's beautiful. Like you get everything set up and then you just have to click one button and everything happens. And it pushes the button the same way the Balatro does.
Yeah. That dopamine release there.
Yes.
That's good. Okay. I have some like miscellaneous ones. Do you have any other like kind of traditional media kind of related?
Did movies, shows, music, books. I don't know. I do have to give a personal Garts to the North Carolina Museum of Art itself. Just for existing. And really just because like that's where I go and spend a lot of my free time.
Yep.
And looking at the art sculptures there. I don't think I actually went inside the the museum this year. I think I did all my time outside. Oh, actually, no, I did go in once because I watched Kung Fu Hustle inside because it rained.
Okay. But great theater there.
Yeah. Did the outdoor, did the outdoor movie and watched The Color Purple there.
That's good. I had two travel related. One, went to Wrigley for the first time this year, and you're from Chicago, but that in itself is a museum. It is just such a beautiful place to see a baseball game. And then on the opposite end, the Paris Olympics made me, my looking for my passport award. Like I just really want to go to Paris.
Yeah. Oh, can I give a Gart to Freddie Freeman's walk-off grand slam?
Oh, I have a baseball one too. Yeah. Kirk Gibson S.
Yeah, that's art.
Yeah,
it was true art. And for people that listen to this podcast that aren't really into sports in the way that we are, or to baseball itself, the best way for me to describe sports is that it's the only reality television that I really engage with. And it's just like you never know what's going to happen, but every game itself has a storyline and it weaves into a larger storyline itself. Like you have Freddie Freeman, yes, World Series champion, well deserved. But now he's in another market for him to continue to make a name for himself. He's hurt. He comes in and just one of the true rock solid first basemen of his era proves that he can get it done in any situation. Yeah. And I think he's a Hall of Famer. Might not be a first ballot guy, but as far as his career goes,
I'd have to be curious to see that like Jaws score because he definitely has the longevity. Did he win an MVP?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know. Typically, like Hall of Fame,
he might have gotten one in Atlanta.
Yeah, like you need the like breadth and depth, and he has the breadth.
Yes,
I'm trying to think. That he's been really, really good for so long, and even like recreated himself from like high average, low power to then the power developed later. But I don't know. I wonder how many times you need to be like the best player in the game.
Yeah, so he won MVP in the COVID season. So asterisk on that, but still getting it done with the small sample size.
Yeah.
But World Series MVP. He only has one Gold Glove, which I understand. Like defense isn't really his thing, and there's better defensive first basemen than him. But a 3-time Silver Slugger, an 8-time All-Star, a career 60 WAR for a first baseman, which is not bad.
Yeah, his batting eye is really quite impressive. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
My baseball award was the Bubble Wrap Award, and this is to Paul Skeens in that I want to bubble wrap to protect the art that is his arm and mustache, because both those, if either disappeared from my life for a season, it would just cause me, great pain and turmoil.
Yes. Can I give a? We were talking about baseball now. a Gart that is the Team Unity performance to the Minnesota Twins sausage.
Oh, that got weird, man. It was getting dicey there.
For those of you that don't know, what is it that they just like? I don't know how it came about, but they started winning and they just kept the sausage on their bench, wrapped and sealed.
Yeah,
but for like a week and a half. Yeah, almost 2 weeks.
That had to smell.
Could not have smelled good. But
Yeah.
team unity and cohesion, I have to respect it.
Yeah, that's good. All right, I only have one more. How about you?
Yeah, I probably got one more in here.
Okay, you go, then I'll go.
I needed time to think about it. Let's see here. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to defer to you.
Okay, mine, because mine's a little cheesy, and that's why it's the Gouda Award, and that is doing this podcast with you. That I think it's cheesy, but also it's good.
Yes, it is good.
Yeah, and it's just, and some, like, especially reflecting back on this year. Just this is the year that I've been trying to, like, come to terms and understand, like, my autism more. And one of the things there is just, like, with autism, just it's this object-based conversation as opposed to just, like, person-based small talk, So it's just been great to have that, like, what's the phrase? Monotropic focus, that, like, hyper focus on a thing.
Yes.
To be able to, like, channel that and share that, those special interests. It's been wonderful. So thank you. And thank you to both our listeners for keeping it alive.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I did now have realized my final Gart goes to AO Racing. And this award is fantasy for all. Okay. I'm just trying to just think of a better way to put it. But just for the fact that this is a team, as I'm looking over at my TV, and I have my little Rexy plush, which was my team mascot for the bowling tournament that I did this year. I got a chance to go to Virginia International Raceway, and I got to meet the AO Racing drivers. I got to see Roxy, which is the pink dinosaur. Rexy is the green dinosaur.
Okay.
And this year they added an LMP2, which is a class above. So like in IMSA, which is it's an endurance racing series. You have the prototypes, which are the fastest cars. And then you have the LMP2s, which are the second fastest cars, which are prototypes. And then you have the GT cars, which are basically the road going cars. You get your Porsches, your Lexus, your BMW. I'm trying to think what other manufacturers are doing that. It's mainly Lexus, Ferrari, Lamborghini, Porsche, and BMW that's in IMSA. Anyway, AO Racing, realizing the goodwill that they had picked up from the dinosaurs, which was mainly influenced by one of their drivers' children, how like he had an astronaut and a dinosaur on his back,
cool,
and a unicorn for his son and his daughter. This year they decided to add an LMP2, and they painted the LMP2 to look like a dragon named Spike. And needless to say, they're the most popular team on the grid.
Yeah, it's great.
When I went to VIR, they had their mascot in an inflatable pink dinosaur costume. And I appreciate them for making auto racing accessible for a lot of people, because like you might have somebody who might come along that's not as interested, but you can say, well, there's a team that drives a car that looks like a dinosaur, or there's a team that drives a car that looks like a dragon.
This is the first time you've gotten me to potentially be interested in driving.
Yeah.
So it works.
And it's wonderful. And it's just like, like watching endurance racing is a hard sell. And it's just like, at minimum, it's like, hey, I'm going to watch a 3-hour race, which is about the length of like a NASCAR race in general.
Yeah.
But 2 hours and 40 minutes is the shortest distance that IMSA will support. And that is a sprint race at 2 hours and 40 minutes. From there, from there you get to 6 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours.
They need a pitch clock.
And 24 in which like I am already very excited for the Daytona 24 that's coming up at the tail end of January. Qualifying for that is going to start in a couple of weeks. I love the start of the year. Sorry, I'm going to go on a quick tangent here. But I love the glut that we get of endurance racing at the start of the year, because you get the Daytona 24, and shortly after that you get the Bathurst 12 hours. And with it being in Australia, it starts about like 10 o'clock in the morning here. So it's 12 hours, or like between like 10 and 11 o'clock here. Yeah. And it's a 12-hour race, and, you know, it'll finish up. No, I think it starts at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, or 1 o'clock in the afternoon here, and then goes off at 1 o'clock at night. But it's so much fun to just watch them start the race in pitch black. Yeah. And watch the sun come up.
That part does seem
race change.
I get that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, thank you. That's good. Yeah, those were all the goodest art of the year. Mm-hmm. So thank you. And all right, we're coming back in 2025. What are we going to do?
Wait, since we're talking about good art, I want to give a shout out to the the commentators for the WEC, which is the International Endurance Series, the World Endurance Series, or World Endurance Championship, which has Le Mans, the other big 24-hour race in it. And I would like to give a Garts to the commentary crew for best callback.
Okay.
A couple years ago, they were doing the 24 hours about 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, and somebody writes in that's watching, and that their child is upset watching, is upset in the middle of the night because they want cake, and it's like, well, it's unreasonable for you to have cake at this time of night.
You gotta fill that air,
yeah. And the analyst, he was chiming in as the play-by-play person, and I feel really bad that I don't know their names. But he's talking about that, the only reasonable alternative for cake, this late. The analyst chimes in with heroin.
Oh no!
And the play-by-play says, no, it's not that. And today, or not today, but this year, when I was watching it and I was telling my friends about that moment, they were doing a callback to that bit in that exact moment. And they were saying, so what was it, about 2 years ago, we were talking about this, and you say, like when you're up at 3 o'clock in the morning, like cake is definitely one of the two options.
One of the two. Okay. So this, I will present the Good Art friends for a third option that's healthier than both of those.
Yes.
One, incredibly so. All right. So, yeah. And January, what are we going to do in January?
We are looking ahead to 2025. Mm-hmm. We're halfway through the decade. And there's a lot of exciting things that are on the horizon. And we're going to talk about what we're looking forward to.
Yeah, we're going to draft them.
Yes.
Yeah. So let us know, what art you loved in 2024 or art you're looking forward to in 2025.
And before we get out here, I do need to give a few listener submission Garts.
Please do.
The Substance was given a Gart, to which I responded to my friends that, thank you for submitting this. I will not watch this. But I'm very glad that you thought it was good. And I got to scroll back up and find everything here. But yeah, like that got one. There's so much good stuff. Mm-hmm. I have to scroll through here to make sure that I remember. I am filibustering very hard. Oh no. But yeah, that was one of the big ones that was submitted, The Substance, and I'm like, well, Conclave also nominated for TV. From
I don't know that.
That was a huge hit. A huge hit among my friends. Lower Decks.
Okay. Star Trek, right?
And No Name by Jack White.
Oh, I didn't even know that he had some. All right, thank you for those.
Yeah, that's how I'm feeling pretty good single.
Okay. All right. And yeah, let us know. And yeah, we'll talk to them next in the new year.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.